you need an elite sorcerer's build that is viable in all game modes and bosses, as well as being able to output insane amounts of damage with no UBERS, which leaves massive room to even upgrade further and gain more damage, as well as hitting some of the highest crits possible, and having full 8 Paragon boards and 8 glyphs that all maximize your damage and increase the output, then I got the sorcerer's build for you. What's up, world? We're back in the video on all things Diablo 4. Okay, so let's just jump right into it, get into the build, and we'll get into the skill tree to start, then we'll go into the Paragon board and a few other things with gear and notable other changes. And just like with all my build guides and build videos with Diablo, I use a multitude of tool sets, one of those being today's sponsor. Mobalytics is an insanely intuitive and innovative app that lets you deep dive into an incredible amount of useful tools for all your build creation needs. And this free application, and yes, you heard me right, it is completely free. This app has helped me so much with my build creations and comparing and contrasting different statistics. I was able to find incredibly interesting and different unique builds compared to mine, and even got to try out Crip's ultimate fire sword. I love being able to glance over at my stat priorities and build priorities just right within the game. And the new highly anticipated build planner is available now to use directly in-app. And this allows me to completely redefine my build and plan out new strategies without having to use any of my precious gold. Again, you can download for free using my link down below. Thank you again to Mobalytics for sponsoring this video. So first up, we'll jump into and we'll grab Firebolt and Spark, although you could probably swap out a Spark and just take Firebolt. I take Spark because I was swapping in and out of it for the auto passive, so you probably just want to go into Firebolt, and then you can move on. Now we'll come down here and we'll jump into Chain Lightning. Now we're only going to put one into Chain Lightning, and we're going to put Enhanced Chain Lightning, and then Chain Lightning, Destructive Chain Lightning here. We're going to go 1 into Devastation, and then 3 of 3 into Elemental Dominance, and then as well as 1 into Potent Warning. We'll jump down here, we'll get 1 into Elemental Attunement, although not too serious. Now I do have an amulet here that's going to allow me to get these basically upgraded, but however, if you don't have it, you're going to need to take Flame Shield, you're going to need to take Teleport, and you're going to need to take Ice Armor. And then the Ice Armor will also grab into Enhanced Ice Armor, and for Teleport, we're going to grab Enhanced Teleport, and we're going to grab Shimmering Teleport. Then we're going to go 3 of 3 Glass Cannon, although again, my amulet does contribute to this of additional 3. We'll jump down here, we'll grab 1 of 3 into Align the Elements, then 3 of 3 into the Mana Shield, and 1 of 5 in Lightning Spear. Now jumping down to here, we can make a few decisions and choices here and a few different moves. However, for the most part, this does seem to be the optimal play here. So we'll go 2 of 3 into Cold Front and 1 of 3 into Icy Veil. However, these points can be moved around and utilized in different scenarios. We'll go 5-5 into Blizzard, and then we'll take Enhanced Blizzard, and we'll take Mage's Blizzard. Jumping down into here, we'll go into Inner Flames, and then 3 of 3 Devouring Blaze. So jumping down here, we're going to 1 of 3 into Discharge, or Static Discharge, and then we're going to go 3 of 3 into Invigorating Conduit. We want to get these crackling energies as they will apply to our Paragon board. You will see kind of how the crackling energy kind of will tie in there. Now we'll go 3 of 3 into Permafrost, and then 3 of 3 into Icy Touch, and 3 of 3 into Frigid Breeze, and then also 3 of 3 into Hoarfrost. I like to add 1 point here as I just had a little bit one left over, as there isn't really much less to go or much more to go off of. So I went here into Cursing Currents, and we are going to grab this alt, so we're going to grab Unstable Currents with the Prime Unstable Currents as well. And then we'll jump down here and we're actually going to grab Isu's Veracity. And the reason why is it actually is either bugged or it's supposed to work this way, but currently it works with all passives right now, or it works with, I'm sorry, all elements rather. Instead of just working with fire, it actually does work with lightning and ice, and so this will apply a significant amount of damage bonus for overall. Over to our glyphs here, we are mainly looking for X multipliers. I'm going to have this down below so you'll be able to follow this a little bit easier and what we're kind of going for and why we take the 8 glyphs, as I do kind of add all the bonus damage here. We have Stalagmite, which is going to be our first one into the first glyph socket here. Then we're going to jump into Charge. Again, Charge is going to be significant for us because Crackling Energy does provide an X multiplier to damage there. That's why I took those traits to essentially spawn that Crackling Energy. We'll jump over here and we're going to grab Elementist. Again, another one with an X multiplier. We're also going to go into here and grab Tactician. Tactician is going to give us a little bit here with the rare node. Not too much, but however, we're mostly just looking for that X multiplier. So we get that damage defense multiplier. Then we're going to go into Critical Strikes. Again, doesn't matter too much on how high we have this. However, you might be able to move some points around and try to get this a little bit better, but we do want that X multiplier at the bottom. Jumping over into here, we do have Unleash, and again, another X multiplier for us, which is going to be completely massive. Also some decent rare nodes here that help with that. Jumping over here, we get Flame Feeder. Again, another X multiplier. We're going to do 10x direct damage to burning enemies, another big one. And then last but not least, another X multiplier, which is Exploit, a really good one here for our vulnerable enemies. The only one that does not have an X multiplier is Stalagmite, but you're going to want this because the Ice Spike damage is fairly good, and you want to increase this as high as you can. Now, jumping over to gear very quickly, you have a few options here. We are going to go into basically what is more than likely a dagger for this, because we do want damage to close. However, you can rock a wand if the wand is a little bit higher. You will kind of have to mix and match here. Can definitely depend on how you're playing this. However, I wanted to put the dagger because damage to close is going to offer us a good amount of damage there for us and give us a significant amount of damage increase across the board, adding to that bucket range there, since we don't have damage to close on really anything else and we're not taking Remnant. Now again, for our helmet, we're going to take Godslayer, and the reason why we take Godslayer is it's just going to pull enemies in. This is going to be really good for our cooldown reduction, max life, and damage overall. We want to take a regular chest piece this time. The reason why is because we need damage reduction. We need damage reduction from close, and we need the total armor, and that's just not provided by the Remnant. But we also want the legendary to gain armor, but your evade costs 100% more cooldown. This armor increase is going to be insane for us. 13,000 armor I have right now currently, so it's absolutely insane. Frostburn, I do like this one. However, you can swap this one out if you wanted to take a different piece, or if you wanted to even take the evade legendary on here, you could, but I do like this one overall. Now jumping on down here, we take Tybalt's Will, which gives us that 40x multiplier. We'll take Isu's Heirloom, and again, everyone over the main hand. This one, we're just going for cooldown reduction, resource regeneration, mana cost reduction, and the critical strike chance, another two big ones. We'll take Tal Rashi's Iridescent Loop, and we're also going to take Blue Rose. Now, Blue Rose will probably swap out, or if we did get it, we would probably swap out for Ring of the Starless Skies. However, this is an uber unique, so it's going to be really hard to get that. And then again, my Amulet, which is pretty good here. It's going to add some ranks to Mastery, some Glass Cannon, some defense ranks, and some movement speed, which our Amulet we're going to want to use for our Ice Spikes if we are using an offhand and a main hand. Now, jumping over quickly here to our pet stuff. Now, this isn't a ton needed. There is a few legendaries, or sorry, uber uniques that I don't have currently. These two are definitely going to be utilized if you do have those. However, we are going to take Tempest at the top here. We're going to take Burning support and Devastation support, and then as well as Resource support. Now, what you would get rid of in this case here is more than likely either Burning support, although Burning support does add that burning damage for us, so it is really good, and or maybe even Devastation support here, but probably more so Resource is going to be the one that you would swap out for the actual Genesis into that section there. Now jumping over to here, we're gonna go into obviously Flash of Adrenaline, which is a really good and picked one, utilized very well. We're gonna go Safeguard support, we're gonna go Duration support, and Tactical support. Now again, what you're probably gonna want to switch out is more than likely Safeguard support, as you probably don't need the additional damage reduction. However, this is a good one and it does definitely help, so you'll probably swap that out for the Evernight and put that in there for the damage reduction. That should fill out the pet board. Overall, this build is actually a lot of fun to play, especially against bosses and in Nightmare Dungeons. It's going to offer a significant amount of damage reduction, and you should be fine with that 13,000 armor overall. Now, for our resistances, we are around 50 to 59%, around 70 for cold resist. These are a bit low for resistances, so you might have to rework some stats there if you really do need the resistances. However, more than likely, you are not going to need 70% resistance, and I've noticed that the 20% difference there doesn't really make a whole lot of difference, at least as far as I can tell. You're really going to want to more focus on the damage reduction overall, as these kind of poison resist and other resistances don't matter too much, because it definitely depends on when you're going to encounter them. Overall though, this should about cover it for today's video and build. If you enjoyed it, like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuces.